Hey everybody, welcome back to City Sewers. It is the weekend before Thanksgiving and we are going to do some poultry processing today. Now we have actually had a flock of 20 Cornish cross meat chickens in our backyard for the past 8, almost 9 weeks, and today is their processing day. So we're going to get them processed out today. We're going to hopefully get some weights on them, and we'll get some calculations figured out on exactly how much it costs for us to raise them. But so far this has been our smoothest experience with raising meat birds. We put in the really efficient feeders at an early age, and I feel like we've gone through significantly less feed than we ever have, even though this is the most birds we've ever done at a single time. So that's really exciting for me. The reason you haven't seen anything with them up until this point is due to, I've mentioned before that I fell in the garden and had some hiccups. Because of my back pain, I was not able to sit and edit at a computer, and so our videos have kind of fallen behind. So it wasn't necessarily deliberate that we weren't hiding anything, but it's how it played out. So now you guys kind of get to see everything all at once, and I think that's kind of cool. So between the processing, and we're also going to have a couple videos up about the tools that we're using, some of the DIY tools that are hopefully making our lives a little easier. The feeders, for sure. We did a little how-to video on how to make the efficient feeders for the chicks, which you just scale up depending on the size of the feeder you want, but the process is pretty much the same. And then David also kind of created a chicken plucker that we're going to try today and see if that works. This is the largest number of Cornish cross that we have ever produced at any given time, and so it's going to be a bigger day today than we've ever had, but we're hoping that it goes smoothly. We have 4 of the birds are reserved for my parents, who are actually, they have been really supportive. It was actually my dad's idea for us to do another round of them, because he was talking about how delicious our homegrown chicken was over the store-bought ones, and that kind of sparked us getting another round of them. So 4 of the birds are going to my parents, and my parents have also given us an early Christmas gift because we didn't have enough freezer space to store 16 to 20 birds. So they were very gracious, very awesome, and they just bought us a new chest freezer for us to put all these birds in. So we're super excited about that. Got that put in yesterday, and the past week of our lives has been kind of revolving around making a space for that freezer. But now we're ready to go. We've got the freezer in, so it's still, I'm not sure that it's all the way cool yet, but we're not going to need the freezer exactly for a few days, which we'll talk about how we're going to age the birds and things like that. But yeah, let's get going. Check out these babies.
Alright everybody, today's the day. It's the day for processing the chickens officially. We're kind of doing all the preparation right now, which included boiling a giant pot of water, and most importantly for this purpose, we're mounting our gill cone. This is what it ends up looking like. I think we showed you that yesterday. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mount it in the corner of, in theory you could do it on a wall if you want to, but you got to know that there's going to be some splatter. So what I'm doing is I have these 2 pallets, kind of just made a corner. For the purpose of this demonstration, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the kill cone so you can kind of see how it's going to work. We'll demonstrate, we'll show you how we put the chicken in it. I don't think we're actually going to show the processing of the chickens, but once they've been dispatched, we'll actually let you know how the chicken plucker works, and we'll show you a demonstration of that as well. The background thought of me, there we go.
Painful.
And then, of course, down the bottom, that chicken neck will come through right here. And there you have it. All right, here it is. Finally built the case for it. It is basically set up to a power drill with the intent of it spinning forward. Now, this case is literally just made out of 2x6s. We actually went to Home Depot to build it, to get some wood, and they had a scrap pile. So I grabbed like 3 pieces of scrap and made it out of that. So can't really beat that. I'm just gonna turn on real quick so you can see. I have a zip tie that when we're ready, I'll just put it on there and tighten it down so it just continues to go. And then we'll unplug it for the actual, when we want to on or off. As you can see here, I have a little gap at the bottom. These feathers essentially will get thrown, likely all over the yard if we're not careful. We may end up just putting a shield up. My idea is I'll put a catch bucket underneath it to catch all those feathers, or a bag, just so that we can, have it be a little bit more clean and not a ton of cleanup afterwards.
I have a black bag over there.
And we have a black bag over there. So we're gonna cover all the tables. We're gonna have a couple tables. We have 20 birds to go through, and we're gonna spend the next few hours doing this. Yay. This is our setup. We're kind of doing the last bits right before we get to actual processing. We got our chicken plucker over there. Table's all squared away. How are you feeling about this? You ready?
I think it's gonna be pretty clean, actually. The cardboard is the box from the freezer that I mentioned earlier. And I was like, what are we gonna do with this giant box? And then it was like, hey, we can line the whole area here and not have any blood and get like anywhere. So I'm kind of excited, actually. Like,
nice.
Repurposing.
Repurposing a part of something else.
Yes.
That's it. Recycle, limit garbage. I mean, it's gonna be garbage anyway, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the 3rd time I think that we've gone through this process, and we're learning a little bit every single time. And I guess just an encouragement is if you've ever done anything and it didn't go right the first time,
Yeah. Well,
you can always improve it the next time.
this is gonna be our first time with a kill cone because last time we used duct tape.
Which was recommended and did work for
It
the
worked.
most part.
It was more time consuming because every bird you had to duct tape their wings down, and it was also a pain in the rear end to remove the duct tape after. So this is going to be much more streamlined, and I feel like it's going to be awesome.
So we're all set now. This is the rotation we're going to be on here. It's kill cone, hot water for scalding, plucking, eviscerate, eat, or age and stuff. Okay, so that went really efficiently. There wasn't a lot of angry flapping. It was probably the best experience as far as that goes. Next is we have a giant pot of scalding water. We're gonna dip it in until we can feel the feathers pull out.
Put it in and swirl it. You want to get that water all the way around all the feathers.
A lot of people don't know this, but chickens, similar to ducks, can swim, right? They have similar bone structure like that, but their feathers will insulate them. So you want to kind of do this to them so that they, water can get between the feathers. All right, now I'm going to use the chicken plucker. See how that thing works? Some of these wing feathers are very easy to pop out, but it is kind of awkward to get the wings, I don't know, down in there.
Yeah, you expect to have to pull the
Some feathers, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to pluck them all the way naked like a barrel plucker will, but.
Barrel plucker?
I was on the non-spraying side. Were you getting dusted there?
Oh yeah, I got a few in the face.
Me too.
Yeah, I got a feather in my
And this is kind of the aftermath there.
That's
But
one chicken. At least it didn't poop on its feathers.
That's a lot of feathers.
Faster
overall,
than-
mostly naked chicken.
Yeah, it's faster than plucking the whole thing by hand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot.
a lot. I was about to say that.
And I'm sure by the end we'll be a little more efficient, kind of understanding all the different directions and how to hold it.
Is that
I was getting my
enough, though?
hand whacked a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, we are about 5 birds in, and Amanda was just telling me that the water is, what, dropping in temperature. We've been augmenting it with a pot of hot water.
Yeah, we've been like adding in a pot of boiling water as needed to keep the big pot going. But now we're running out of headspace, so we need to.
We're gonna have to dump some of that nasty water
Yeah.
and get some fresh stuff going. We are, I mean, you can kind of see, we're several birds in. Flies are kind of going nuts on them, so we're kind of keeping them covered. But we're gonna take a pause from the processing and plucking, which is actually going a lot easier. By the end, I'll be able to show you when I actually know what I'm doing. It's going a lot faster, smoother. Feathers are coming out. What I'm finding is the key is making sure that water's nice and hot.
Yeah.
If it's not hot enough and you haven't scalded the feathers enough to release, they just want to stick in.
Yeah.
Also, I'm finding if you just hold the legs and the neck and let the body kind of move around where it needs to, we're getting a better result of the feathers coming out. So
Yeah.
we'll show you that in a bit.
Cleaning. What does that mean?
You see all the feathers that are still on there?
Yeah.
You can pull all those little feathers off.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Okay.
I call it. Yeah.
Call it.
Oh, the kids are gonna help.
It's almost
with the
like what you
chicken
see in a store, huh?
litter. Yeah. Yep.
Almost.
Almost. All we have to do
You
is
can
cut off the
actually, in
neck.
most stores, find just the chicken feet. Like people make chicken foot soup.
Ew.
But see, that's the end of the gland, but this whole big bump here, that's his gland.
I
So
was teaching the kids about pruning glands
Cut it
and
we're gonna just
proper way
cut
to
the
clean.
whole tail off. And then we don't have to worry about any of that yucky juice.
Is that the pea?
No.
What is
No,
it?
when they preen, it's when they're cleaning their feathers, and this makes an oil that they put on their feathers.
Like that?
Yep.
Yucky. Itchy.
I'm gonna pull that feather out above the pruning gland, Kayla.
Like.
There's a feather.
Like. This.
There you go.
Boom. Got it.
There's a little pruning gland.
Ew. Who is this
go.
the biggest? Who did the biggest so far?
Pulling out some guts, huh,
Yeah.
Audrey?
Careful, the liver is very squishy.
You guys realize how strange this is that you want to help with this, right?
Yeah.
Here.
A chicken.
Chicken.
A
Let's see.
soaking wet chicken.
There you go. All right, I want to put it in the box. A nice box here with
A chicken carcass.
with ice down the bottom just to cool down the carcasses. And of course they have to age for some time, but we're gonna be outside for a little bit of the day. So. All right, so we've gone through what, 6 birds so far?
This is our sixth
This is
one.
our, this is our 6th one. Getting better with the plucker. Kind of wanted to show you a different technique than I did before. I was at first trying to like very gingerly hold it. Now what I'm finding is if you either hold it by the feet and let the machine take it off, or the neck and let the machine take it off, it's much more efficient. So anyway, it's gonna get noisy here. Anyway, that's that. And of course,
It's a lot more efficient than hand plucking.
oh yeah.
A lot
I
more.
mean, look at that skin. So yeah, there's a few detail feathers that you can't get out with the machine. Right? You gotta actually pluck some of these, but
A lot more better than just doing by hand.
well, yeah, and faster.
Last bird.
Last bird. Oh my gosh, what a day! We've genuinely been out here what 6-7 hours for
It's
20
been a full
chickens.
work day.
It's been a full work day. So if you happen to be a chicken plucker for a living, know that you have my respect. It's not a particularly good smelling project. But I will say, Man and I were just talking about this, and we'll come back to it, I'm sure. The kill cone and the chicken plucker, holy cow, that made it easy. I don't know there's much I would change about either one, to be quite honest. We had one hen go, a particularly small one, fall through the bottom of the kill cone, but it was a very small one. It was remarkably smaller. So yeah, I mean, I suppose it could have been like 3.5 inches and that would have been fine. I wouldn't change it though.
It would have been a squeeze for some of the
It would have
bigger
been some of
ones.
the squeeze, yeah. So stick with a 4-inch rule. That was a good one. The chicken plucker's been fantastic. We've talked about maybe building a shield for it.
Yeah.
Like that was initially part of the plan.
This is great. Yeah, the future additions, I guess,
Yeah.
are that we'll put some sort of a shield that will help with the feathers. Because, I mean, obviously the bag has caught the bulk of the feathers, but you still have, you know, some that fly in your face.
But I mean, look at the ground. This bag has just saved.
Oh yeah, it's saved a
much
lot
work.
of cleanup time. But yeah, and seriously, this cost a total of what, 20?
Even maybe
3?
maybe 25. Because I had to buy the pluckers themselves, which are 20.
Yeah, the rubber
but we have,
fingers.
you know, 15 of them left. Yeah, maybe 20 to 25 bucks. But dude, I would not change it. Like I love that kind of project where you go, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's so rare that happens where you say, well, if I had it to do again, I wouldn't do it different.
And the cone was great because, you know, I was shopping around for some cones, and to get like the galvanized steel, a lot of reviews were saying that the rivets on them would break, especially with some of the larger birds. But and that would have cost $35-40
Just for that
just
alone.
for a cone.
It cost $5.
It cost
maybe.
$5 for a Home Depot bucket. And yeah, it was great.
I'm not sure this is the kind of advertising Home Depot wants, but
Hey,
Thank you.
they're all about do-it-yourself.
yeah. Should we pluck the last one on camera?
Sure. You have no one to hold your bag shield, though.
Well, I don't want to spray. We can put the camera down.
Sure.
Like that. Naked bird. Ta-da! Well, we're losing light fast. Overall, thoughts?
We're done.
Yeah.
It's great. We're done.
Ugh.
Long day.
Oh my gosh. Long day. Oh, I can't be more overjoyed with how these things worked out. Like, we're still dirty. We still have a whole processing station to
Yeah, we're
clean
gonna
up.
clean everything up, but
But while we have the light, we wanted to kind of just recap what we had and just show you the final product of our labor. Here, grab one of those chickens. That one there is beautiful.
This one?
It's funny, like I was talking to a man, I'm like, we gotta show off this one. It's awesome. They are all different. That's what's so funny. The store-bought birds, they have them down to a science where, you know,
you get
they-
some variance in size.
some
but-
variance in size, but they only sell the most perfect ones as whole birds. Otherwise, they just
Right.
chop them up, and you never know what did they look like. Why is this a little breast and that's a big one? What, you know? But this is a just gorgeous.
This is a
looks
very,
like it
very
could
nice
be
one.
compared to. Where's the little guy?
Oh, where's
Right here.
Yeah.
Look at the difference in these guys.
And these are both hens, because probably the whole top layer of these is hens.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you have to go through the whole process of cleaning out the insides, and you know this is going to be a roaster for the family. And
Well, you know, it's remarkable that even when they had the same access to food, some of them were remarkably fattier than others. They
Right.
had that whole layer of subcutaneous fat when you cut into the body.
and it
cavity.
wasn't even necessarily the biggest ones. Some of the smaller ones were just fatty too.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because you know you think of big fat birds and
That's where you're
They
seeing,
weren't the little ones, it was
that's
all
where
genetics.
You're seeing birds that, yes, they have reached their genetic potential for size, so then they just put on fat.
right.
So
Hey,
it's interesting.
One thing that we found was absolutely a lifesaver through this whole process was those feeders. Would you buy
Yes.
6 bags of feed for 20 birds?
Yes, I bought 6 bags of feed in anticipation of how much food it would take to feed
20
20
birds.
chickens. And I did not even open the 6th bag.
Which is awesome.
Like,
I mean,
I was completely surprised. because we have raised fewer birds than this before and gone through
More than 6 bags.
more food.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's, I don't think we'll ever go back.
We definitely won't. And I just have to say, I'm feeling very accomplished with both of these. DIY, do it yourself home projects. And I mean, even if you're not going to kill birds, you should make one of these. They're fun. Okay, maybe
I don't know
not.
what you would do with it.
It's a good massager. Just take it in like the bedroom. Honey, I'm going to give you a
Oh
massage.
my gosh.
I can't imagine that going poorly for you.
I don't think that would go well for you. But anyway, we will probably shortly be doing some chicken math to figure out what our total feed cost was. It's easy enough for me to figure out how much it cost per bird. If we had a fish scale, it'd be really cool because then we would be able to do a cost per pound on them.
You could probably figure it out. We have a food scale, like a 5-pound max.
Right, but it's a
So
5-pound
that
max.
goes.
There's a couple of them that are over 5 pounds.
Excuse me, chicken. We're
But for the
talking.
bulk of them anyway, we will be able to get accurate weights and we can figure out exactly how much feed it took to raise so
Yeah.
many pounds of meat. So that's exciting. The next step is that David is going to go get a bag of ice. And when he comes home, we're going to dump some ice in this ice chest. And these guys are going to sit in here for about 3 days and age. And
No, why don't we just put them in the refrigerator like we did last time?
because the cooler is not where all my food is.
Last time we did this, we had 12 birds. It literally took up our entire refrigerator.
They took up
every shelf.
every shelf on the refrigerator to dry age, which of course that would ideally be better because they would
Sure.
have full airflow all the way around them.
Yeah,
and
we'll
blah,
have
blah,
to
blah.
move these around to make sure they're not
But
sitting on top of each other.
but the point of aging, dry aging, is to let rigor mortis play out, which rigor mortis is when all the muscles get really tight, and that can actually make for tougher meat when you want to eat your birds. So when you let it age and let that rigor mortis go through its whole cycle, then you'll have that tender meat again. And some people think that freezing it right away will prevent that. It's not true. It just will kind of suspend that whole process so that when you defrost it, it's still going to go through rigor mortis.
It is interesting when we end up eating these birds. There is a very, very big difference between the birds at home that we've backyard raised and the birds you could buy at your grocery store. Nothing against Foster Farms, right, or the big
no, of course
producers, but they pump a lot of water, saline water, into the birds to give it a much plumper look. What that ends up doing is it ends up making a softer, more mushy texture, which the home birds are going to end up just being so much more dense. I can eat like half a breast instead of one breast, and it's just enough. You know, I don't feel like I need to eat the entire thing just to be filled.
Far more often in the frozen chicken breasts.
Sure, yeah.
You'll find those needle marks. You don't always see them, but sometimes when that meat thaws, you can really see all those needle marks, and you can tell.
And it's marketing. It's making it pretty.
It's also about increasing the weight.
It's also about making their profit margins.
Yes, because meat is sold by the pound. So
and if it's frozen already, you can't tell.
yeah.
So we know exactly what went into these. And earlier we were having this conversation with our kids. I wish we would have been able to bring you into it, but Nathan said, "Dad, do you like doing this?" And Amanda said, basically, you know, I think if it was up to Dad, he wouldn't be doing this, but he likes, you know, supporting me in this process. And I do. But one of the things she was explaining to him is that we know every moment of this chick's life from a day old. We know the very first thing that chicken ever ate, and how it was treated, how it was raised, and ultimately how it was dispatched to be food for us and our family.
Yeah, they lived pretty stress-free lives. They ate well. They
Had goat friends.
They had goat friends.
Free range.
No, it's just, and they had space to move around. So we know the kind of life that they lived, and it's not just about knowing that your meat is humanely taken care of, but it's also familiarizing yourself with where your food comes from, because there are so many people who are not comfortable with even the thought that their meat came from a live animal once.
Chicken. comes from chickens. Weird.
And I mean, we were
Not the cuddly
noticing
ones that eggs
like,
come from.
well, we were just noticing that even just the moment that you like have removed the feet and the head and things like that, the things that make them look like chickens, then they look like store chickens, and you feel much more comfortable with doing the rest of the process.
That's really true.
And it's a really interesting mental disconnect that happens when it no longer has a face. But
That's just totally
yeah.
a first world thing. Anyway, yeah, don't be afraid to try it yourself.
And we'll definitely make sure that we get those numbers out on the next video with how much it costs, because I know that really weighs into your decision on if you're going to do something. Is how much is it going to cost me?
I cannot imagine it's cheaper than going to the store.
I'm sure that it's not.
Especially if you factor in your time. I think there's value in the experience. I know our kids came out and had a great experience learning, and we'll give you some thoughts of ours on raising kids around this kind of thing, because some people just aren't comfortable with that, and we understand that.
Right.
But
that's a conversation for another video.
Because I'm tired. My back hurts and I
And the
still have
light is
cleanup to
fading,
do.
and it's getting cold, and we've got to clean up. So as always, this is your urban nerd with a goat herd and a chest full of chicken.
That's right, 20 dead chickens.
Telling you that you can grow where you're planted.
And at some point when you stop growing,
Oh
that's
my gosh.
life.
That's dark.